There we go. Let me turn that off. I hope you're very well. Happy Halloween, eh? Happy Halloween. I'm using a new webcam. That looks pretty good, doesn't it? I like that. I think that's pretty good. Actually, I could probably move it a bit further away. Right, I've been in the UK for a couple of days. I had to do, I was doing some mischief in there. Oops. Yeah, I was testing it. Well, I can't say too much. I said a little bit on social media today. It's amazing how many people want to. They love all these little things I do. It's like, to me, it's totally normal. Somebody said this to me recently. They said, you know what? The stuff that you do normally is really unusual for most people. And I was thinking, So moving through the UK yesterday, I was driving around and I'm watching what people are doing. All they're doing is they're walking around. A lot of it is just an existence. They're just not on any real purpose. This was struck me on a spiritual level. How many people are out there and they're not on the true journey? They're not doing what they're supposed to be doing, what they were put on the planet to do. Their spiritual journey completely unstarted, not even anywhere even started. They haven't even got the shoes on for the spiritual journey. And here I am, well into mine, and I've been continuing to get updates, downloads, spikes, pulses. It's absolutely great. So, but you can only get, actually, I'm kind of rambling, but what I've figured out is you can only get onto your journey from events that happen which are traumatic. If you've got a nice, easy life, you're not going to get there. You need the trauma to teach you lessons. I was thinking somebody was talking about this with me. They said, no, it's all about trauma related. You've got to go through lessons in life. And people are sent into your life to teach you these lessons. This is a really interesting thing. So let's have an example. You might meet somebody that you give a job to and he drives you crazy and he ends up stealing from you. You know, the money in the shop or the business is low and you find out it's this guy. So, well, I gave him a job. Now he's in my home and he's stealing from me. And it's again your lesson. Relationships like that. I mean, if you look back in your life and how many difficult relationships you've had, they've taught you a lesson like what you don't want, what you can spot again. My main two lessons in life are deception and betrayal. Every single woman has betrayed me and deceived me. And the thing about deceit and betrayal is you can only betray someone if they get close. A stranger can't betray you, he doesn't know enough about you on a personal level. So the deceit and betrayal is a really, really hard one for me. Because when you trust somebody and you believe what they say, and even if your instincts are saying, that doesn't really sound right to me, because you love them and you care about them, family member, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, and then they stab you in the back with the deception, which is usually lies, trying to cover something up, and then the betrayal, whether it's being unfaithful, disloyal, going to work for your competitor, that's the worst. I've had guys do that for me, taken inside information when they've been working for me and gone off and set up on their own. When I used to do real estate, there were certain ways I was doing it, and they copied it. And it didn't work for them. It never works. But here's the real kick in the ass that you've got to understand about relationship journeys is that when they put you in these situations and you learn about the things that they do to trigger you, you have to be thankful. You got to say, you know what? Thank you so much for showing me what I didn't want. And then I saw another great one. It says, if I could love this person who was terrible for me this much and feel so much about such a toxic, horrible person, imagine how much love I'm going to feel for the right person who loves me and I love them and we're in a perfect relationship. And it's so true. And you need to hear these things. I've been coaching this week. This is where a lot of this has been coming from. You need to hear these things. And I'm quite famous for saying when I do break up with someone, I'm saying, oh, fantastic. You're going. We're breaking up. Brilliant. Because you were amazing. But that only goes to show that I'm going to meet somebody much better right around the corner or whenever. So, understanding your life journey, which will add the momentum into your spiritual awakening, into your spiritual journey, to wake up your spirit, to awaken. Oh, this is nice. It's very important to have bad people around you because you're never going to have it by just sitting in the cabin watching television all day. You have to take risks. You've got to get in there. You've got to be betrayed. You've got to have your heart broken. You've got to feel the pain. You've got to feel the knife and the stabbing in the back. You've got to feel the blood draining from your brain when you realize, I did not see that coming. And it's terrible pain to go through, but when you get through it, and I've been through it a lot myself, and I've helped people go through it, helping a good friend of mine go through it right now. That's why I know so much about it. There's all of a sudden a great joy. Like, oh my God, you get lifted because you're free. You don't have to worry about if they're going to call you or text you what time they're coming home, or why isn't that bank transfer being transferred, or what happened to that other case, that box of stock that we had. Where's that gone? You don't have to worry about all of that. It's a great relief when the toxicity of the person that's been interacting with your psyche with you is history. Move on and don't even look back. You can't look back. I'm terrible at that because, oh, my mother was sick. Here's a great one. I have a substance abuse problem, Mahoney. I needed money. I sniffed it. I'm like, if I'd known you were doing anything near drugs, I would never even take it into my nest in the first place. Drugs to me is the biggest, well, it's the biggest one, first of all. I do not accept anybody that has anything to do with I don't mind them drinking because I'll drink with them. But any form of drugs, whether it's white, green, blue, whatever, I don't mind people smoking a joint either. They can do that, but just don't do it when you're operating heavy machinery like the Mahoney cement factory. So yeah, I've had a really interesting week with the spiritual side of things. And it continues. I can feel it. It's buzzing. It's buzzing, buzzing, buzzing. And I'm so blessed and privileged to be doing this. I am every day thankful about it. My friend said to me, why are you so thankful? I said, well, look at my life. Look what I do. I'm not one of these guys that just walking around from supermarket to kebab shop to barber shop in some horrible place in England or anywhere in Europe or anywhere in the world. I wasn't born in an Indian slum. I'm born into a position where I've got this platform to speak and educate and teach people what I've learned across the way, what I'm still learning. And something's happened to me, guys. You've probably seen the change in the last few weeks. Something's changed in me. I feel that people are saying, you're glowing up. That was the expression. Somebody said to me, you're glowing up. You're bubbling with energy, burning up. And the things I'm talking about and coming across and having that sudden understanding of are fantastic. And it's helping so many people around me, including myself. So there you go. That's what's that, 10-minute rant? Should we do that every show? Mahoney's 10-minute rant. I'm very proud of that I've never, ever, ever, not even taken one pill, sniffed a line, drank a line, whatever they do, smoke it, sniff it, whatever they do with it. Nothing. I'm the most drug-free guy you've ever met in your life. Now, whiskey and wine, I'm guilty. Absolutely guilty. Back down a really nice glass of wine when I got off and stopped for lunch today. I was up at 3 this morning. Oh, that's another thing. I sleep 2 hours, wake up, something's talking to me. What's that? Now I have to have a recording device next to me because I don't want to wake up and write it. So I've got a little thing and I say it. And then in the morning, figure out what it was talking about. I was dreaming about somebody called Megan. Who the hell is Megan? I don't know any Megans. Megan has a message for you was what I had on the recorder. I think because it's kind of mumbled. I'm trying I'm trying to run it through a cleaning program, so it might be something else. What does Megan sound like? Begging for you? I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I'm sleeping 2 hours, but I was up at 3 this morning, traveling from the UK back to Spain. I tested this new cheat system because they're going to start tracking. What they're doing now is they're trying to track everybody coming in and out of the country, and a system that I figured it would work because I read, well, I studied, but it's too early to talk about. We don't need it yet, but it's there when it's needed. And I thought, yeah, they've missed that. I thought they would. So anyway, we'll carry on. Let's crack on with the show, right? I was on a show earlier today And it was an American marathon. The guy said, you know, why is it that so many people that are truth talkers are all living in that part of the southern Spain, Mahoney? You've got quite a few down there. All of a sudden, it's turned into Clint Eastwood. And as I said, I don't know. Charlie Ward, 20 minutes down the road. Janet Ozenbard, the woman that was doing Fall of the Cabal, she was down the street from Charlie. So we're all about an hour from each other. You got Lee Dawson, you got a few other people spread around here, something about the light. And I said, yeah, the light. Light workers are attracted to the right light. Why my hands so animated? I'm turning into an Italian, Cosa nostra? Now, this part of Spain has a very distinctive light. It's very yellow and golden in the afternoons. It's amazing to film here. There's only 2 other places in the world that you have that, and that's Southern California and Cervetica. Cervetica, it's not very pleasant to film there because it's too bloody dangerous. Mind you, LA's getting out of hand as well, so looks like we're all here. Now, Plato wrote about Atlantis and where it was. He said it was just past the Straits of Gibraltar, which in his writings he called the Pillars of Hercules, which is right up the street. So there's been a lot of research here. They found a lot of archaeological items that would seem to correlate that there is some strength and truth in the original writings. The ancient anchors, for one, carved stones, carved drawings on the stones of the horseshoe rings. So I'm going to kick off tonight with 3 videos about Atlantis. Yeah, just to keep it a bit varied, because if we do all this geopolitical stuff, it's a little tricky. And by the way, how's the volume? This is a new web camera, but there's a camera, there's a microphone in there. Is the volume good? Yeah. Is it the same as usual? Or a little worse? Oh, same as usual. Great, because then that means I don't have to pack all the other stuff up. I've got it sorted out. Atlantis, let's kick it off with that. And then I'm going to share 3 videos with you. Because there is something in that. You know, I've been here in this exact coast for 30 years now. I mean, I can't believe it's that long. And I absolutely love it. When I got back today, miserable, freezing, horrible England. And I'm sorry, guys, if you're from England. I just don't like it. I don't like the energy. It's cold and damp. Don't mind that for a couple of days. But it just seems to be wanting to keep you inside the house, you know. The weather's so bad. What are you going to do? And what was it? It was Thursday yesterday. What are you going to do Thursday night? Go down the pub with your mates or your family. You go. That's all you can do. Go for dinner early. Everyone eats dinner at 7 o'clock. I don't get hungry till 10 o'clock. I'm going to eat after the show now. So it's all that energy keeping everybody in the house. In Spain, we're all outside, man. Outside the t-shirt today. Look, this is what I was wearing today. T-shirt. Very blessed. Why am I blessed? Because I do this sort of work. Sharing, dedicating, charity work. You know, I can't tell you how many people we have on health programs with the medical supplements. We're giving them. Can't afford it. We'll give it to you. I don't want you to die on me, so I'm going to donate it to you. Ooh, my hands are on fire. You see me doing this a lot now. This is going to get stronger and stronger in me, and this is going to go somewhere. I'm telling you, I have a premonition that within 6 months, this sort of style of talking with me is going to go nuts. Something's telling me, something's coming. This burning passion to share what I've been learning about waking up and the spiritual side of things, the way I'm putting it together, I've already started putting plans in my head about how we're going to do it. It's going to explode. Remember when I said I was looking for a new look? I think this is it. After Christmas, I'm going to put some more time into it. Anyway, one more time, talking too much, guys. I'm just like, oh, me. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Here we go. Have a look at this. Let me see if... Where is the volume? What is going on here? There it is.
Of 3 concentric rings of land and water. At its center, there was a temple to the god of water, Poseidon, where the Atlanteans sacrificed bulls. There were also incredible bridges and canals connecting the various modes, and the central wide canal that cut across the city and linked the temple with the sea. Everything we know about this highly debated topic comes from the Greek philosopher Plato, who wrote some 2,400 years ago. In Plato's tale, the Atlanteans ruled an aggressive empire, stretching from the Atlantic all the way to the eastern Mediterranean. And it all came to a terrible end in a single day and night when earthquakes and tsunamis destroyed the city, submerging it beneath water and mud. But where is it? Atlantis.
Yes, but where is it? Now, when I did some investigation work here, there's an area when you go down towards a city in Spain called Cadiz. And then all of a sudden the road stops because there's a huge national swamp. It's a protected wildlife reserve. Oh my God, my hands are itchy. Oh, oh. And you've got to go, if you want to go to the next city, which is Huelva, you've got to go all the way inland by Seville and all the way around. It's about 2.5, 3 hours. But if they put a bridge there, it would only be about 20 minutes. They've never done it. You're not allowed to build there because it's a natural wildlife preserve. Oh, what's my finger? Why is that? What is that significant of? Itchy finger. Mosquito bite? Highly likely. So that's the area where they say they've found. Trying to silence me, see that? Stone circles and the concentric horseshoe rings have been carved on stones inland in caves where they've done specific photography work and found them. So there's definitely something in it. And I'm going to show you the next video, which is, let me see now, that one. Yeah, here we go. Where's the volume? It's this, you know, I've got this weird, there we go. That's what I want to do. Right.
We find through the Plato's writing of the Timaeus and Critias that those stories were carried down from an ancient politician named Solon. Solon was a Greek politician who traveled to Egypt, one of the first Westerners to ever go to Egypt, and he met with the high priest of Egypt at that time, and they told him a great story. They said that their ancestors that created all of Egypt and the pyramids, known as the region of Chem that Billy mentioned, was a breakaway group that came from Atlantis, and that before them was another continent that was west of the Pillars of Hercules, the Straits of Gibraltar, in the mid-Atlantic, right where the ridge is, where all the earthquakes and things can happen. There was another subcontinent there called Atlantis, and it had two capital cities, Poseidon and Atlas. And those two cities ruled this continent. They speak about how there was a great war back then, both on a physical level with war, but also on a level of nature and the gods. It was basically a time when Mu Lemuria was described as a divine feminine energy of creation, a place that was more in tune with nature. There are remnants of those cultures in those Southeast Asian areas. It was a civilization based on knowledge and spirituality as its focus. Now, Atlantis is spoken about as starting like that, but then taking a completely different path, becoming obsessed with wealth and military power. In the Atlantic, Atlantis, we find through the Plato's writing of the Timaeus and Critias that those stories were carried down from an ancient politician named Solon. Solon was a Greek politician who
Oh, sorry, guys. It started to repeat. I didn't notice that, but you got the gist of it, yeah? And we got one more. This one I can make bigger. Oh, yes. Because I don't know what it is about Atlantis. People are fascinated by it, aren't they? If you ever talk about Atlantis, it's like the Nazi gold. People are like, oh, Nazi gold. Got to watch that. That'd be amazing. Where's the Nazi gold? It's a bit like that program, Oak Island. We're digging another tunnel here in Oak Island where they've found pirate gold in 1624. This is the 942nd tunnel that's been lost. Have you seen it, Oak Island? It's the way that they keep it. Nothing. They never find anything. They've made about 17 series. Seasons, 17 seasons, and they never find shit there. It's like always on the verge of finding something. They find nothing but disappointment. Anyway, Atlantis is the same, isn't it? People are fascinated by it. Let's see if I got the volume up on that one. I haven't seen this myself. 1 minute long. Oh, why is it not playing? I have to refresh it. Sometimes they do that. Oh, God. Here we go. This looks like it's a walkthrough, doesn't it? And I think actually this. Oh, that's why it shows it, obviously. Who would not want to live there? Yeah, so this is a computer-generated image of how Atlantis looked. Seems like the weather was good all year. Oh, he was good. All right, this is just a CGI. You get the art we've done anyway. You know, when I was a young man, all those seasons ago, when I was about 26, I was working on a very large private yacht for a Russian as a second engineer. I'm very good with engines and electronics. And we went to Greece, and when we sailed into Greece, the captain told me they come on board the ship and they seal up your dive bottles, so there's no scuba diving. I was like, are you joking? No. And sure enough, they did. So what I did was I took one of the scuba tanks and I sprayed it red and I disguised it as a fire extinguisher and I put it in the engine room, which most of the time I was in. And I had a secret scuba kit. And one of the islands, I'd have to look it up where it was, that last scene of Roman columns, Greek columns, Corinthian pillars, they're called. Corinthian is the name. It was a part of the island that had sunk into an earthquake and gone into the ocean. Maybe, I don't know, 50, 60 years ago. But there's very little fish in that part of the Mediterranean. There's not much coral. So when I went into the water, it was like swimming in something from Angelina Jolie movies, Tomb Raider. I was absolutely gobsmacked. I was the only one in there. At about 6 in the morning, just got like swimming with all these huge pillars in amongst these ancient Greek ruins. What an experience. It's probably still there today, but maybe a little bit more policed. But that's probably one of the coolest things I've ever done, especially as a young guy. Yeah, I was like, and the captain wasn't bothered at all. I'm still in touch with the captain. He sent me a message the other day. I haven't seen him for about 25 years. Ian Roberts is his name. And he sent me a message on Facebook. He just, he liked what I'd put on the videos. He hasn't a clue what I'm doing. If I ever sat down and told him what the hell's been going on for the last 5 years, between the COVID stuff and everything, he'd be like, there's something wrong with you. You got a problem, you know. He's from Liverpool. So what we got next? Let me go back and check my videos. Is there any Q&As that I need to be aware about? The take on the genocides going on in Nigeria and Sudan right now. I don't know anything about them, John. Genocides in Sudan and Nigeria. I mean, that stuff. The problem with Africa, that shit happens like every second year. Another civil war with Rwanda and Nigeria and cross borders and Cameroon. I mean, Africa is Africa. You know what? And that's exactly what Africans say. Africa will always be Africa. The shit they do to each other there, it's horrific. I'm involved in some charity work in Nigeria that we're building a hospital. So I could probably make a call about that. Where are we going next? Right, we'll do some random stuff now. I'll lighten it up a bit. I came across this because I was in the UK. It comes up on your feed. And it's so true. This is about what they're trying to do on... to pre-program people. Is that working?
All confirmed, and they're doing it deliberately. I mean, we knew for years it was already happening, but now in the UK at least, they've quantified exactly to what degree it's happening. A new study looked at the top 500 adverts shown across all stations over 2 4-week periods on British television. Despite comprising just 4% of the population, more than half of the commercials currently showing on UK TV featured black people. Over 50%! In the past 6 years, black people featuring in commercials has also risen from 37%, despite the black population of the country barely rising. When it's a mixed race couple, why is the man always black and the woman white and rarely the other way round? And it's not just TV ads. Public advertising is, if anything, even more explicit. Over 80% of the country is still white, and you'd think advertisers, purely for financial interests, would want to appeal to their largest potential customer base. But apparently there's a different agenda at play.
Yeah, now the deal with that is they've also been doing it. When I was in Japan, there was leaflets being spread around on the underground system where it had a black immigrant with a Japanese girl. And it was printed by Friends of Jerusalem, something like that. Oh, who's texting me? Like, man, is this one of mine? Who's texting me? I better just tell them I'm recording and I'll get back to him. Recording. Oh, it's a friend of mine. Says he's up in the mountains skiing. How nice for you. Would you shut up and leave me alone? Where was I? Yeah, the agenda. So what they're trying to do is trying to normalize it, because one of the benefits of having these countries that, like Japan, the bloodline is extremely pure. They don't intermarry. Japanese man, Japanese woman. They stick together, and it's the same in Ireland. It used to be the same in Ireland. If you look at Ireland now, it's been blasted with contamination problems from bloodlines trying to breed with Celtic people, that the bloodlines stretch back through thousands of years. The heart chakra of an entire Europe, of the world, I believe. Ireland is the heart chakra of the world. The energy when you go there, if you go there properly, you know where you're going and tune into it. It's fantastic. I'm going soon now. I need a little bit of dose of Ireland. What is it now, November? January, something like that. I'll pop over. And of course, I'll take you with me by filming. Yeah, interbreeding. They're trying to get people to normalize it. I mean, you notice there's always a black man with a white woman. Oh, yeah, that's no problem. Never the other way around, is it? Giant black woman with a skinny English man. You get some big ones there, don't you? Very large. I have seen some amazingly large women that coming out of Nigeria. I have worked in Africa before. Many countries over there I have been to. You ready for this now? We're going to hit something. The Shroud of Turin? What? Where are we going there, Mahoney? Where's that come from? The Shroud of Turin? Is it even real? Well, apparently in the Vatican, they keep taking it out and keep testing it. I half saw this video. So let's have a look at it. I think it's talking about the word that they used was Yahweh, which is the word for, well, it's going to explain it now. Let's have a look and see what it says, because I'm quite interested in this. I actually don't believe it is Jesus' shroud, but in case there's any staunch biblical believers, it might well be. I don't care if I'm wrong. Absolutely. Mahoney, you're wrong. You're full of shit. All right. No problem there. I don't mind. I like being proven wrong.
Blow your mind. An amazing revelation from the Shroud of Turin. We're going to see a sentence that is embedded into the cloth, wrote in blood. In the last video, we looked at the name Yeshua in Hebrew across the forehead, but in Revelation 22:4, it states, "They shall see his face, and his name shall be wrote on their foreheads." Today, this has been fulfilled in part by me, because I've revealed his face from the shroud, and I've also discovered the name across the forehead in Hebrew. So I'll let AI scan for other words and other Hebrew words. I said, find any word, and it found this sentence. The lion who hears our cry, lifts our yoke, becomes a sacrificial bull, outsmarts the fox, his name is Yeshua, salvation. This will blow your mind.
Well, there you go. Didn't really blow my mind. Did it blow your mind? This will blow your mind. That accent is from the north of England, that one. It's a bit of a difficult one because it doesn't matter what happens in the person's life. It's always got the same monotone. Oh, I've just won a brand new car in a local pub competition. They're always talking like everything's like, you know, oh, I've met the most beautiful woman I've ever met in my life. Sounds like he's about to bloody pop himself. I met two people once, two clients, older couple, probably in the late 50s, early 60s, quite a new couple. I said, where did you two meet then? They said, we met walking dogs. I said, walking dogs? I said, is that a pub? No, we were out walking our dogs. We were out with the dogs, walk. I said, you made it sound like a pub. Why are you getting the arse with me? I was already asking. It's not like I'm your ex-wife or husband and it's the problem. Or your barrister. Walking the dogs. You know. Some people, eh? Let me check the Q&As. Nick Sylvester. Yeah, I'll get him on next week. Nick's always great to come on. I haven't talked to him today. But I hope next week we can have episode 1 of the Decoding Andalusia. That's a cracker. Have you seen the trailer? You've seen the trailer. I've put it up on the channels. I've played it here once, I believe. But yeah, some of the hotspots that I've been working with and enjoying. I've shown a few people over the years. People that are interested, not many, about maybe two. And then I took this group with me, and I was like, okay, let's see if my skills are on par, because I wasn't as advanced as I was as I am now, as I was back then. So, and I was pretty much on the ball. They were all like, oh, I won't spoil it, but I hope to have that out next week, and I'll get you more information on that as we get moving towards it. Right here, let's pop on to the next one. What else have I got for us tonight? I'm going to try to clear some of these so we've got loads more room on the top of the search bar. Yabba dabba don't escape that one. Oh yes, that one you can. Right. This girl is spirity.com. She's growing on me, the videos that she's producing. I like the way they're cut. She's mysterious the way she wears her makeup. Seems to be very bright. I'd actually like to meet her. See if we could collaborate on something, you know. If she's that bright, it might even be an AI person. I don't know. Have a look. You'll see what I'm talking about now. I've got 3/4 videos from her tonight. I'll play 2 now, and depending on the time, if I shut up and we have more time, I'll play the other 2. Whoop.
Chest carrying the 10 Commandments, a symbol of God's covenant with his people. That's the sanitized version. But the real Ark, the one hidden behind layers of deception, erased from history, was something far more powerful, more terrifying, and more dangerous than any religious text will ever admit. It was not just a chest, it was not just a religious artifact. It was a device, a force of impossible energy, a weapon that defied the laws of physics, a direct connection to something beyond human comprehension. It was hidden because it had to be. Let's go beyond the myths. Let's uncover what the Ark really was. The Ark wasn't made for humans, it was something else's technology. The Ark's design was not primitive. It was built to specific dimensions, covered in gold inside and out, a conductive material, acting as a power capacitor. But this wasn't just electricity. Why would an all-powerful God need a golden box to communicate? The Bible says the Ark was where God's presence dwelled, where he spoke from between the cherubim. But why would a divine being need a physical interface? The gold laminated layers resemble modern capacitor technology, suggesting the Ark was designed to generate or store an extreme energy field. The Ark burned those who touched it. Why? Electricity, radiation, or something else, something that existed beyond our visible spectrum, lethal to human flesh? The Bible says the Ark was built from instructions given directly by Yahweh. But what if this wasn't divine inspiration? What if this was reverse-engineered technology, or worse, something given to humanity by a force that should never have shared it? The Bible records multiple instances where people touched the Ark and dropped dead instantly. The Ark's effects went beyond physical destruction. It seemed to warp reality itself. The Ark split water. At the Jordan River, when the Ark was carried across, the river stopped flowing, Joshua 3:14-17. Did it generate an anti-gravity field? Did it bend space-time? Or was it activating a localized dimensional shift? The presence of the Ark caused hallucinations, madness, and visions. The high priests who entered the Holy of Holies risked instant death or losing their minds. Why? Was this divine purity or exposure to something that altered consciousness, bending human perception? The Philistines returned it in terror. They didn't just want to get rid of it, they were desperate to send it away. The Ark was a weapon, a machine of annihilation. The Ark wasn't carried into battle for luck, it was brought into war because it could kill. It leveled cities. The walls of Jericho didn't fall by chance. The Israelites marched the ark around the city for 7 days, and on the 7th day, the walls collapsed. Was this just sound vibrations, or was the ark emitting a directed energy force, a resonance weapon capable of shattering stone? It wiped out armies. In 1 Samuel 4, the Philistines capture the ark, and suddenly their people are plagued by disease and death. When they returned it, the destruction stopped. Was this divine punishment or a bioweapon effect released upon those who mishandled it? It killed on contact. They had seen something, experienced something that should not exist in our world. Was the ark a gateway? Did it open a rift between dimensions, allowing communication, or worse, allowing something to come through? The ark did not simply vanish, it was removed from history, erased for a reason. Solomon knew what it was. The ark was placed in the Holy of Holies inside the temple. But when the Babylonians sacked Jerusalem, the ark was already gone. Why? Did Solomon hide it? Or did someone take it because it could no longer be controlled? Some theories suggest the ark was later held in the Vatican's secret archives, locked away because the church knew it was not of God, but of something else. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church insists the ark is an axum, guarded by a single monk who cannot leave and cannot let anyone else see it. Why? Because no one is allowed to witness what it truly is. The ark was not lost. It was removed because those who understood its power knew it could never be allowed to fall into human hands again. The final truth, the ark was not of this world. It emitted a force beyond human understanding that killed indiscriminately, instantly, as if reacting to unknown parameters. It altered the very fabric of reality. It was a conduit, a machine, a weapon, possibly a key to something far greater. So the question isn't just where is the ark? The real question is, was it taken back? Did the ark's creators, whoever or whatever they were, reclaim what was never meant for us to possess? And if so, what happens when they return?
Too long? That was a bit long, wasn't it? 4 minutes. Are you burned out with that? Let me know in the comments. The Ark of the Covenant. That's actually a good theory, you know. They took it back. Because if you do know your Bible, all of those stories are true. They walked around for 7 days around the walls of Jericho, and the Jericho walls collapsed. All of those, what was it? 3:16. Yeah, it's all true. Those Bible quotes. I remember all of those. I remember talking about the walls of Jericho. Ark of the Covenant. It's been one of those things. Apparently, Trump's got a duplicate inside his living room. It's a nice ark. It's the best ark. We're building a beautiful ark in my living room. I don't know why he's got that there. It's a strange thing to have, isn't it? Mind you, saying that, I've got a 6-foot-tall replica of Ramses II in one of my places, made out of resin. I should take a picture of that. Like, I'm one to talk about having strange things in the house. You should see the stuff I've got lying around, all the artifacts that I brought back from worldwide trips and visits. I always pick up stones is something I pick up. I always pick up a stone or two from any of these locations. I've got something, I can't talk about that online. But needless to say, I've got interesting stones. Right. Anything I need to know? Laverne, I can't answer those sort of questions. Is Julie on tonight? You can email me that. I'll have a bash of that by email if you want. Julianne, would you send Laverne Storms my email address? She's in the Q&A there. Sounds like she needs a little bit of help, and I'll do it. Right, we're going to go back and see what else we got. I'm going to see, hopefully I'm going to check out the other videos, because we got another one by her. How long is this one? This one's 5 minutes, 50 seconds. And then this one is another long one. 9 minutes, 43 seconds. They're too long. They're too long. I'll tell you what, we're going to stay in the Middle East with this story. See if you can follow this. Because is this the right one? One of them was really like, oh, hang on, say that again.
Of Eve being created from Adam's rib is often seen as a patriarchal allegory. However, in the original Hebrew, the word Selah can mean not just rib, but also side or cell. The story could be a preserved pre-scientific description of a cloning procedure, where a cell from Adam's side containing his genetic material was used to create a female counterpart. In this interpretation, the story of Adam and Eve is not a myth about the first man and woman, but a memory of the first cloning of a human being. The biblical story of Eve being created from Adam's rib is often seen as a patriarchal allegory. However, in the original Hebrew, the word tsela can mean not just rib, but also side or cell. The story could be a preserved pre-scientific description of a cloning procedure, where a cell from Adam's side containing his genetic material was used to create a female counterpart. In this interpretation, the story of Adam and Eve is not a myth about the first man and woman, but a memory of the first cloning of a human being. The biblical story of
I have to watch these Facebook videos because they just repeat themselves. Unless there's a setting, there probably is. I'm just a bit of a... I'm an old-fashioned guy. You know what? Somebody was asking... I don't know... Before I go on to that little tangent, I'm an old-fashioned guy. I don't like these social media stuff. My 28-year-old marketing guy was asking me, when did I first get a cell phone? I said, oh, probably about 91, 92. He says, well, what did you do before that? I said, we'd make an appointment with someone. You'd be there. That's it. He said, well, no, internet. I said, internet was another 20 years, probably. When did the internet come out? Like 97, 98? About then? Because I can remember, you'd go down the pub in England and the phone would ring and it would be always for somebody in the pub. It's Brian here. Brian, you got a phone call, mate. Oh, which Brian? Which Brian are you looking for, mate? Because if your mate was there, someone they'd just ring the pub and say, no, I can't do it. I missed the bus or the car's towed up or something. So I remember pagers, yeah. They were more popular in America, though, than they were in Europe. You know, page this and page that, you know, beepers. There weren't so many around like that. Doctors had them, but the average guy in the street didn't. You'd make an appointment and you'd be there, and you could remember at least 20 phone numbers you had. Your mum, your dad, your best mate, the local takeaway, a couple of pubs, and you'd have at least 10 numbers in your head. Anyway, everybody had 10. Impressive people had about 30. What's that number? Oh, yeah, 665. They knew it. We all knew it off the top. I tell you what, I can remember one number now. It's a disgrace. I'm going to beat myself later with a large stick because we should all remember phone numbers. Because if you lose your phone, and then I asked, this is the biggest shocker. I said, there's no GPS. He went, what? How the hell did you find anywhere? So we had maps. Everybody had a road map in the car. And then he said, you can't have a road map that big for London. I said, yeah, you'd have it in London A to Z. And you get it out, look at the little page, specifically if you're in Piccadilly or down in Leicester Square or over in Covent Garden, wherever. You just look it up and you could find it. It was all alphabet. It was dead easy. I still love a map. Yeah. My friend yesterday, I was having a couple of pints with, he said he had a friend that used to go out. And when he'd want to meet an attractive young lady, this would be in the 70s, he used to say to them, if you stick with me, love, I'll show you the world. Have a drink with me and I'll show you the world. And he used to carry a map of the world with him and pull it out. A little bit cheesy. I thought it was quite fun. You'd see, people, you'd have to do that, wouldn't you? You'd have to work a lot more for it. Nowadays, you're clicking on some, swiping on pictures, meeting, There's no fun in it anymore. You need the banter. You gotta, you needed to be quick with your words, especially in Ireland. In England, be the same, Guy says something to you. If you don't say something funny back to him, he's gonna think, oh, she's no fun. Her friend's way more fun. And that's what used to happen. So the banter that you'd have to have in the dating circuit was necessary. Here we go. This is something about the Anunnaki. This always seems to get people's blood going, especially since we got this Atlas thing coming in.
Describe their gods, the Anunnaki, as coming from a 12th planet in our solar system called Nibiru, which has a long elliptical orbit that brings it into our vicinity only once every 3,600 years. They are said to have come to Earth to mine gold, an essential mineral needed to repair their own planet's failing atmosphere. This is not just a story of gods, but a detailed account of an extraterrestrial race engaging in a resource extraction mission. The entire history of Sumer in this view was a colonial project directed by these alien visitors. Sumerian texts.
See, it's tricky, isn't it? They start straight away playing again. And a raw material extraction mission. I've been on a few of them, haven't you? Looking for raw materials, pints and whiskies. Sometimes food late at night when you're starving. I've got to get some takeaway food. In England, it was always Indian food. What do you say? Fish and chips in Ireland, which I'm not a fan on. Not a fan on that typical English cuisine. Fish and chips. Garden of Eden. We did that one. Let's have a look what else I got. Ah, this is one of my favorites. Right. Easter Island. Who knows the other name for Easter Island? Come on, put it in the text. Let's see how many brain box we've got there. Come on, come on. No one's typing it. You don't remember what it's called? Rapa Nui is what it's called. Easter Island. Now, the Moa, there, these large stone heads have been buried up to their heads for a long time. Rapa Nui, yeah. And have a listen to this.
Hieroglyphs carved on the back of the Moai statues. It's said that these massive stone statues were carved by the Rapa Nui people on Easter Island many years ago. But according to the indigenous people who lived here, these statues were not carved, but they were once living giants turned to stone. The indigenous people say that these giants once walked here, but everybody laughs at them and they're like, what are you talking about? But recently scientists have used this new technology called ground penetrating radar. They used it to take an AI scan and found out how much deeper it goes and what the body of these colossal monuments looks like. Now tell me why it went down for like 30 feet, and on the backs and the chests of these statues, it is Egyptian hieroglyphics, but a certain dialect called Reformed Egyptian, and they're wondering how in the world these monuments could have Egyptian writing when it's all the way in Chile. Like it doesn't make any sense. Same way they wondered how there were Egyptian hieroglyphics in the Grand Canyon, and on the chest of these statues, it literally reads in hieroglyphics that we have sky cousins that are going to come down in a vessel and give us more extended knowledge than we've ever had before. Now what does that sound like? I don't know about you, but to me it sounds like fallen angels. It sounds like when they came down in the past and gave the earth heavenly knowledge that we were not supposed to know. And it doesn't even stop here, guys. It gets worse. Apparently they found a connection between what's under these statues and what's under the pyramids in Giza, saying that it could potentially connect deep under the earth. I'm telling y'all that all these Egyptian gods, the Greek gods, all of them are fallen angels. Studies show how the Egyptian gods, some of them could also be Nephilim because in fact some were half human, half animal. Now I want to tell you something even crazier. Did you know that Rapa Nui has its own flood mythology? Y'all know that in almost every sector of mythology, there is some huge flood. Like in Greek mythology, it's the flood of Deucalion. Egyptian mythology also features a flood called the destruction of mankind. So now we're going to talk about Kiva. Kiva is an ancient civilization known to the indigenous people of Rapa Nui, where a flood comes in and destroys everything. And from that flood, 7 figures emerge as gods. Now tell me why in Greek mythology, not counting goddesses or demigods, there are 7 main Greek gods. And you guys already know that these fallen angels told humanity that they were gods posing as the Almighty. So now all of a sudden we're finding out that there is some lost civilization that yet another indigenous people believes in with 7. It's all lining up, guys. Oh yeah, this is for entertainment purposes only. Why the hell are there...
That's a good video, isn't it? You enjoy that one? That's on my bucket list. I'm going to do Peru, and I'm going to go down to Rapa Nui. Probably in 2026, actually. I'll do it all at the same time. I'll have to just do some... I'll feel into that, see if that's true. Can't tell you now. I'm focusing on the show. Yeah, it's a good one, that, wasn't it? I don't believe there were giants that were walking, but there's definitely something strange going on down there. Where we're going next? Do you want to hear a little story about the Prime Minister of the UK and why there's all this cover-up shit going on? This is funny. This could get me jailed, actually, but do I care? Come on, have a listen to this. He's got skeletons in that cupboard closet for American guests.
Boys, while everyone's distracted talking about the Tel Aviv fans and the Aston Villa game, the 2 men suspected of setting fire to UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer's property have pleaded not guilty. Now, it has been reported that these 2 men advertised their services on certain websites. You know, massages and things like that. And the other day, the men appeared by video link to the Old Bailey, where they required interpreters, and pleaded not guilty to the charges of arson. Now, why would our Prime Minister have his properties and his car set on fire by 2 Ukrainian men that are 35 and 21 years old? clearly do not speak very good English in the fact that they need interpreters. And why would both of them happen to advertise their services of that nature online? Why would they know the whereabouts of two of his properties and which car he has? Why would that all happen to be the case? And why would they risk imprisonment by setting fire to these properties and his car? Why would they risk doing that to a high profile figure like Keir Starmer? What would drive them to do that? Could it all just be a coincidence? Or is there more to it? I'm just asking questions here. Let me know what you think of this in the comments.
Oh,
Quick, run the story about the rent boys while everyone's...
so secure, right? Getting the old Ukrainian rent boys round. We talked about it more at the time. That happened a couple of months ago. There was nothing in these cases. I was simply taking a stroll in the garden after I'd come out of the sauna, and I slipped and fell inside one of these gentlemen that were in the garden doing some midnight rose cutting, also naked. You know, the thing is, they're all such twisted perverts. What's wrong with just having a normal relationship? Get yourself a normal... They've always got to do this weird sneaking around horrible stuff, haven't they? These weirdos. And then there's, of course, there's always drugs involved, because that's the devil's way straight in there, isn't it? Get some drugs on the table, get it inside, then you got all the demons and demonic possession coming in, all these bastards are coming into the party, and that's it. You can't get them out after that. The minute you do that, and then they're all in the gang, aren't they? All in the little boys club saying, well, you know what, we accidentally took a load of pictures of you with the red boys in the garden, and now you're going to have to do what we tell you to do. I'm so pleased. I'd rather be broke, living on the street, than having that on my conscience. Can you imagine having all that way down on your shoulders all the time? The shit you've done with child trafficking and murdering and sneaking and, you know, ugh. It beggars belief, doesn't it? What the hell can these people, how do they go to sleep at night? This is the thing. How do they go to sleep at night? Where am I going next? What we got left? Oh, we've got 7 minutes left. I've got a really good, we've got a really good video to play out with, but I can't play it too soon. This is kind of fun. This is like a geopolitical one from the States. You like this one as well. Let's go back and share that. And then we'll play the Halloween one, and then we'll have a chat, and then it's dinner time.
Than we could have ever possibly imagined. From the smoking ruins of Antifa's Portland stronghold to the emptied coffers of Democrat-aligned NGOs worldwide, the American left is experiencing a systematic destruction unlike anything in modern political history. We're about to find out how the mass arrests currently underway in Portland and cities across America are all part of a coordinated three-front assault designed to permanently eliminate the organizational capacity of leftist resistance in America, and it's working with devastating precision. We are watching the political left in the midst of their own death throes. The masked militants who for years terrorized American cities with impunity are now facing a final and decisive reckoning. It's happening in more...
We've seen it. We've seen it indeed. The destruction and hopefully burying of the extreme left, because I can't think of a single good thing they've ever done. You know, the Liberal Party was something I remember kind of aligning with, but all of a sudden it just got so radicalized, didn't it? You know, there's no such thing. And then if you were right wing, you were like, oh my God, you know, if you pull his shirt down, he's got a little SS tattoo right here from when he was in jail, because you were a right wing supporter. But now they're not like that. The right wing, in my opinion, has moved more towards the Liberals, and the Liberals have just put one foot in crazy town, haven't they? It doesn't matter if it's this side of the Atlantic or the other side of the Atlantic. It's the same crazy town where they're living. And their brains are all just, yeah, it's totally normal, you know. Oh my God, I totally forgot to tell you something. This is, and what reminded me was the Liberals. I watched a documentary over the last couple of days, and it was about this Roe versus Wade. What was the abortion law? Ray versus Ward, was it? Put it in the comments. I'm close. What's it called? Roe versus Wade. Yeah, I was very close. This was 1973, I believe. Yeah. So the figures since 1973, the amount of abortions that have been performed legally, it blows your mind. Now, bearing in mind, they worked out that in all of the wars that America had fought in, including the Civil War, First World War, Vietnam War, whatever wars you've been, the Mexican War, World War II, World War One, there's about 14 million people being killed. Yeah? 14 million. Since 1973, they have aborted over 63 million fetuses in the USA. 63 million. Get that figure inside your head. I was absolutely floored. Now, whether you believe it or not, in my opinion, those figures are shocking. It's murder. And where we're going to go next with that is, the thing is, it's all now been linked to a lot of rituals that the leftists and the elites were doing for Moloch, which is that thing with a half man, half woman with a V sign, Moloch. Because in the Bible, if you go back to the biblical stories, they talk about a lot of sacrifice. They were like, people were burning their children, taking the ashes and putting the ashes into the homes. There's a solid foundation to build a family on, the firstborn. So all of that abortion clinics that were farming out the materials, talking vulnerable young girls into taking and going ahead with the termination of a pregnancy, all the body parts were taken away and farmed. And there was a lot of child sacrificing going on with that. I was absolutely furious when I heard that. Like, these people, 63 million. I mean, I understand there's certain cases that termination of a pregnancy is something that should be considered. But in one of the parts, they said a 16-year-old girl is impregnated and it's not by her husband. Should she have the baby? And a lot of people said, no, she's only 16. You would have killed Jesus. That was Jesus' story. Mary was 16. Joseph wasn't the father. According to the stories, Immaculate Conception. Even Beethoven was the 15th son. No, he was the 7th son, born deaf from a deaf family. His father had syphilis and his mother had tuberculosis. She gets pregnant again. Should you have killed the baby? That was Beethoven. Yeah. Anyway, shocking figures, guys. I didn't mean to do that, but it was on my mind, and I wanted to clear that in there. Whatever your beliefs are, those figures are just horrific. Horrific. Now we're going to play out with a little Irish history. Are you ready for a little bit now of a spooky little Irish history about the origins of Halloween? Yeah, I hope so, because I've got a little story for you now. That's like a really made-up American soft Irish accent. Irish people don't really talk like that, But this story I've heard as a kid. My father told me. My father was from the South. And he said, there's a fella called Tricky Jack. And this is where the story came from, David. Have a listen. I'll get it right. We'll make it a bit bigger. We'll get rid of that, because I like this story. Here we go. I'll play it now for you, yeah? Where's the volume? Up there?
There lived a sly trickster named Stingy Jack. One night he invited the devil for a drink, but not wanting to pay, Jack convinced the devil to turn into a coin. Instead of using it, Jack put the coin in his pocket next to a silver cross, trapping the devil. Jack only freed him after making him promise not to take his soul when he died. Years later, Jack met the devil again and tricked him into climbing an apple tree. While the devil was up there, Jack carved crosses into the trunk, trapping him once more. Jack made the devil promise never to bother him again, and the devil agreed. Eventually Jack died, but because of his sinful life, God wouldn't let him into heaven, and because of his deal, the devil wouldn't let him into hell. Jack was doomed to wander the dark earth forever. Before he left, the devil tossed him a burning coal to light his way. Jack placed it in a hollowed-out pumpkin and became known as Jack of the Lantern forever, roaming the night in search of a place to rest.
Did you like that?
The legend Stingy Jack.
Oh, still playing.
Long ago in
The
Ireland.
legend of Stingy Jack. Jesus, I've known a few Stingy Jacks in my time too. They'd never get the money out, pay up the bar, buying pints, would you? Especially in Halloween, Jesus, you'd be terrified to go outside. Well, guys, it brings us to the end of another, what would I call this? A weird show. A strange one. But we got to keep it interesting. I like to do things that are never twice repetitive. And I must admit, there's been a lot of shows that have been very repetitive. Be interesting to see how many I've done over the years. There must be hundreds. We'll be back on Tuesday. Where am I going to be on Tuesday? Tuesday. Who knows, man? Who knows? Probably Spain. I'm going to take a few days off now. I've had 2 quick UK trips in the last 2 weeks, and I'm fed up with airports. I hate them. It's like, ugh, all that energy, all pushing. You know, I've got to put a really big barrier up around myself on there. And flying, it's horrible. I was going to say something else there. Drifted off. Huh? Distracted. If you want to go and have a look on the new site, we're releasing some new products, guys. I don't talk about the medicines much because you probably know about them by now. But go to healthwellforyou.com. There's a few new things coming up and out. What have we got coming next week? I've got the collagen powder. Oh my God, yeah, I'm going to start using that myself. Where is it? Collagen powder that's also got some digestive enzymes. We've got it in strawberry or chocolate flavor. I'm using the strawberry at the moment. Or is it vanilla? I can't remember. There's a couple of different flavors on there. I'll be back next week. If there's anything else, just get in touch with us on the Telegram channel. Great show, Mahoney. Somebody says, who's that? Simon Conway. Yeah, great support on the Telegram channel, guys. Very impressive, all of the links and the intel that you're sharing there. Keep it up. I must admit, I very rarely go on there because it just is too much. It's just too much. And I hope you're enjoying a new feeling of me sharing my experiences. I wander around, open to experiencing new experiences and receiving more gifts and upgrades from Spirit. I tell you what, I don't know why he likes me so much. I think, I'll give you a little secret. I think he has a plan for me. And this is why he's giving me all this. Because you wouldn't load somebody up with new talents if you didn't have a plan from, would you? Wouldn't make sense. And I don't think the divine makes such silly mistakes by loading the wrong people up. Mind you, I could think of a couple of people. Oh, that's another story. I'll see you Tuesday, guys. Whatever you do, have a great weekend and happy Halloween. Stay safe. Keep your spirit up. Wrap yourself in a bubble of light, white light, to keep any negative spirits from getting inside and messing with your brain. I love you. Bye-bye.